Career advancement at first, Mercer sat on the board that made him chief. But there's more. William has hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, a hereditary heart condition. Mild in him but a 50% chance of passing it to his kids. A surgeon with his ambition couldn't risk that tarnishing his image. The truth crashed over me. So he ensured his sperm was never used? Anonymous donors instead, Nathan confirmed. He knew every step. I left with the thumb drive burning in my purse and a referral to a discreet DNA testing service. That night I collected samples, hair from the kids' brushes, saliva from their toothbrushes, a comb from William's abandoned drawer. The 2-week wait was hell as William accelerated the divorce, demanding custody evaluations, claiming my emotional instability made me unfit. His lawyer's letters mocked my role, offering a settlement that'd leave me scraping by, a move to break me. I kept up appearances, smiling at school drop-offs, helping with homework, while researching fertility fraud at night. The results arrived on a Tuesday. The alleged father is excluded as the biological father, the email read. Probability of paternity, 0%. I printed 3 copies. One for Patricia, one for a safety deposit box, one for the envelope that would end him. My grief morphed into something sharper: resolve. William had constructed a lie for 15 years. I'd dismantle it with precision. I contacted other Ashford IVF families from Nathan's list of 27 potentially affected couples. Most refused, clinging to their children's origins. 5 met me. The Millers twins looked nothing like them. The Patel's daughter had unexplained heart issues, ironic, given William's condition. The Johnsons, Garcias, and Wilsons shared tales of miracle conceptions after Mercer's personal touch. We were so grateful, Sarah Wilson wept. We never asked how. Then I found Diane Fletcher, a former Ashford nurse of 12 years, living in a cramped apartment lined with filing cabinets. I kept records, she said, hands trembling as she opened a leather-bound journal. Patient names, procedural changes, signatures, Williams among them, spanned 8 years. My IVF entries read, specimen replacement authorized by Dr. Carter due to quality concerns. No donor ID recorded. Why didn't you report it? I asked. I did, she said, her smile bitter. Hospital admin, ethics board, police. Every investigation vanished. Your husband has powerful friends. She handed me a card. Michael Dawson, Medical Ethics Investigation Unit. Tell him I sent you. Dawson, a Joint Task Force agent, had been probing Ashford for 18 months. Your evidence could crack this, he said over coffee, his tie loosened, eyes intense. But we need more: financials showing kickbacks, admissions, insider testimony. I committed to the hunt, maintaining my facade in mediation. I smiled sadly as William gloated, agreed to temporary custody splits, feigned acceptance of his insulting settlement. You're being surprisingly reasonable, he smirked after one meeting. The kids come first, I replied, voice soft. His confidence swelled. He brought Rebecca to school events, moved her into his sleek downtown apartment, while I recorded conversations, photographed documents, and built my case. A private investigator uncovered a bombshell. Rebecca wasn't just William's lover. She was Rebecca Harrington, daughter of Melline Harrington, a patient who died 5 years ago during a valve replacement William botched. Exhausted from a weekend with Rebecca in Chicago, he'd aired, but Ashford buried it. Falsified records paid off the family with hush money funneled through Riverside Holdings. Melline's husband died a year later from a stress-induced heart attack. Rebecca, orphaned, changed her name, infiltrated William's life as revenge. I considered partnering with her. 2 women scorned, but her motives were emotional, volatile. Mine needed to be surgical. I gathered more: testimonies from ex-clinic staff, money trails from Riverside to offshore accounts, patient affidavits. Dawson built the legal case. I crafted something personal: William's unmasking. During a co-parenting talk, I recorded him. The twins have your eyes, I said casually. Good genes, he replied, distracted by his phone. Ever worry they inherited your heart condition? His head snapped up. What? Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. Dr. Brooks mentioned it. Brooks should shut up about things that don't concern him, he snapped. The kids are fine. I tested them years ago. Without telling me? I'm their father and a doctor. I made a medical decision. The tape caught it all, his knowledge, his lie. The Ashford Gala loomed. William was to receive Physician of the Year. The invitation arrived, still addressed to us both despite the divorce. He texted, "Taking Rebecca. Come if it's not too awkward." I replied with wounded grace. "I wouldn't miss it. You deserve this." He didn't know I'd met the board chairman, Dr. Helena Winters, with select evidence, prompting a pre-gala session where Dawson would present the full case. Nor did he know I'd learned he'd celebrate at Vincenzo's afterward, our spot where he'd proposed 15 years ago. The night arrived, thunderstorms brewing, the sky heavy with promise. I wore a black gown Rebecca had mocked in texts as suburban mom tries sophistication. William stood near the stage, arm around her crimson-clad waist, basking in praise. The secret meeting had just ended. I'd watched from a side room as Dawson laid out financial records, patient testimonies, Diane's journal. The board's faces hardened. Police waited at exits. William took the stage, trophy in hand. "Medicine is a sacred trust," he intoned. "Ethics guide every decision." Rebecca's adoring gaze met mine briefly, a flicker of recognition. They left for Vincenzo's. I followed, envelope in my clutch. The maitre d' greeted me warmly. "Your husband said you might join." William's smugness greeted me at our old table, a 1982 Bordeaux between them, the vintage from our 5th anniversary. "Jennifer, this is unexpected," he drawled. Rebecca shifted. "I didn't think you'd come," she said. "Please stay," I replied. "You've earned this, Rebecca Harrington." Her face paled. "What are you talking about?" William demanded. "She knows, don't you? Daughter of Melline Harrington, the patient you killed and covered up." Rebecca's silence confirmed it. I slid the envelope over. "Congratulations on your freedom." William's hand shook as he read the DNA results. "This is impossible," he whispered. "Is it? You rigged our IVF, lied about our kid's origins." "She's fabricating this," he snarled at Rebecca. "Then explain it to the board," I said, nodding to Winters, Dawson, and officers at the door. "Or the DA. Or our kids." Dawson stepped forward. "Dr. William Carter, you're under arrest." The restaurant hushed as cuffs clicked. "You've been planning this," William hissed. 15 years, William. You had 15. I needed 3 months. Rebecca stared at her wine. "I didn't know about the kids." "I believe you," I said. "Your mother deserved justice too." The fallout was seismic. William faced felony charges, medical fraud, financial crimes, his license suspended. The clinic closed. Dozens of families sought answers. His assets froze, but a trust secured the kids' future. Dr. Brooks offered me a co-chair role on Ashford's new ethics committee. "Your perspective's invaluable," he said. After 15 years as the surgeon's wife, I was stepping forward. 6 months later, I met Rebecca again. "Do you regret it?" she asked. The kids will learn the truth. "They'll learn their origins aren't what we thought," I said. "But not my love for them. I chose truth over lies." That night, watching them sleep in our home, kept despite William's efforts, I felt liberated. The perfect illusion was gone, replaced by something real. My story at last was mine. But the story didn't end there. A year later, as William's trial loomed, a letter arrived. Anonymous, postmarked from Chicago. Inside was a single photo. A newborn with Ethan's hazel eyes, Sophie's dimples, Emma's delicate nose. A note read, "He didn't destroy everything. Find her." My heart stopped. William's tampering hadn't just erased his legacy. It had created another, hidden in the chaos of his lies. I hired a new investigator, tracing the postmark to a small hospital outside the city. Records showed a woman, a former Ashford patient, had given birth 9 months after our final IVF round. A child conceived from a specimen mix-up William had orchestrated but never tracked. Her name was Lily, a single mother raising a 4-year-old girl named Clara. I met them at a park, my breath catching as Clara ran toward me, her face a mirror of my children's. "She's yours too," Lily said, voice trembling. "I didn't know until the news broke." DNA confirmed it. Clara was the twins' full sister, Emma's half-sister, a piece of the family William had tried to erase. I didn't tell the kids yet, but I brought Lily and Clara into our lives. Playdates, quiet dinners, building something new from the wreckage. William's trial came and went. Guilty on all counts, 15 years in prison. Rebecca testified against him, her own revenge complete. The last time I saw him in a sterile courtroom, he looked diminished, his arrogance stripped away. "You won," he said, voice hollow. "No," I replied. "I survived." 2 years after the gala, I stood in our backyard, fairy lights twinkling again. This time for Clara's 5th birthday. Ethan and Sophie chased her through the grass. Emma played a clumsy tune on her portable keyboard, and Lily laughed beside me. The perfect Carters were gone, but what remained was stronger, messy, complicated, and mine. William had built a lie. I'd forged a truth, one child, one choice, one day at a time. If Jennifer's journey, from betrayal to triumph, resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What shocked you most? William's calculated lies, Rebecca's hidden revenge, or Jennifer's quiet strength as she rebuilt her life? Maybe it's the twist with Clara, the child born from the wreckage that left you reeling. Drop a comment below. Share your reactions, your own stories of resilience, or what you do in Jennifer's shoes. Every perspective adds to this tale of truth over deception, and I can't wait to read yours. While you're here, consider hitting that subscribe button. It's completely free and ensures you won't miss the next chapter in our storytelling adventure. We're building a community that celebrates women reclaiming their power, exposing hidden truths, and finding light in the darkest moments. Your support fuels more stories like this, where ordinary people face extraordinary betrayals and come out stronger. Click subscribe, join the conversation, and let's keep exploring the messy, beautiful, unstoppable human spirit together. What's next? You tell me. Comment your ideas and let's shape the future of this journey side by side. The day my husband demanded a divorce after 15 years, I didn't scream or shatter the wine glasses lining our kitchen shelves. I sat across from him at our granite island, the same spot where we'd planned family vacations and celebrated his promotions, and signed the papers. He slid toward me with a pen still warm from his grip. His face, usually so composed, Dr. William Carter, the revered cardiac surgeon, lit up with a relief I hadn't seen in years. "Thank you, Jennifer," he said, voice clipped, as if concluding a business deal. "This will be cleaner for everyone." That night he celebrated at Vincenzo's, our favorite restaurant, with his mistress Rebecca Harrington. I watched from afar, then approached their table, a smile masking the storm inside me. "Congratulations on your freedom," I said, sliding a cream-colored envelope across the white tablecloth. His smirk vanished as he pulled out the DNA test results, the stark black ink declaring our 3 children, Ethan, Sophie, and Emma, weren't his. Not biologically. The blood-red lipstick I'd found on his shirt months earlier had been the spark. This was the inferno. It started on a Tuesday, 9:17 a.m. in our Oak Heights Colonial, a house so perfect it could have been a movie set, with its white picket fence and manicured lawn. The twins were at school, Emma at her piano lesson. I was gathering clothes for the dry cleaner, a chore I'd done 1,000 times, when I noticed William's gym bag tucked behind his row of polished Oxford shoes in our walk-in closet. The zipper gaped open, revealing a crumpled dress shirt he'd worn the night before, supposedly during an emergency surgery. A crimson stain slashed across the collar. Not blood, not medical, but lipstick, a shade no surgeon would encounter in an operating room. The scent of jasmine perfume, not mine, hit me like a slap. My hands trembled as I held the fabric, 15 years of marriage collapsing into that single silent moment of discovery. I stood frozen, the shirt dangling from my fingers, as the life I'd built around William, father of our children, pillar of our community, crumbled. We'd been the perfect Carters, a title whispered at hospital fundraisers where William's colleagues marveled at his steady hands and my unwavering support. "Jennifer makes it all possible," he'd say, arm around my waist, champagne flute raised, his voice warm with rehearsed gratitude. I'd smile, ignoring the envy in the other wives' eyes, proud of our life. 3 beautiful kids, Ethan and Sophie, 12-year-old twins, and Emma, 8, financial security, a partnership that had survived medical school, residency, and his rise to chief of cardiac surgery at Ashford Medical Center. I'd abandoned my teaching career to raise our family, hosting dinner parties for hospital administrators, managing schedules so he could focus on saving lives. Our home was a testament to that dream, every detail curated to reflect success. But perfection, I'd learn, was a fragile facade. The cracks had crept in slowly, unnoticed until they gaped. William started working late, blaming an understaffed hospital. Weekend golf trips with colleagues stretched into overnight stays. Our conversations shrank, logistics about the kids' activities, social events to boost his career, nothing more. When he was promoted to chief last spring, I threw a surprise party, inviting his peers to our backyard strung with fairy lights. He smiled for the crowd, thanked me publicly, then later hissed that I'd embarrassed him in front of the board. "Too extravagant, Jen," he'd said, retreating to the guest room, claiming exhaustion. "It's the pressure," I told my sister Lisa the next day. "Men in power change," she warned, her voice edged with the bitterness of her own divorce. I dismissed it. Lisa saw shadows where I saw stress. The distance grew physical, too. He'd turned from my touch, citing 18-hour surgeries. I tried everything: new lingerie, date nights at upscale bistros, recipes from glossy magazines to rekindle the spark. He'd sit through it, half present, eyes on his phone. "Is everything okay between us?" I asked one night after he barely touched the steak I'd cooked, his favorite. "Just tired, Jen. The Jenkins case is complicated," he muttered, retreating to his office, door closed, voice a low murmur on late-night calls. I believed in trust, in privacy. I wasn't the insecure wife who snooped. Until our 15th anniversary approached. I'd planned a surprise weekend in Napa Valley, where we'd honeymooned, a chance to reclaim what we'd lost. Needing to sync our calendars, I grabbed his phone from the counter while he showered. One quick peek, I told myself. Then a text flashed. "Dr. Rebecca Harrington. Last night was amazing. Can't wait to feel you inside me again. When are you leaving her?" My finger hovered, then tapped. Hundreds of messages unspooled. 8 months of intimacy, photos, plans made while I drove Emma to recitals or helped the twins with science projects. Cruel jab stung. "William. She's planning some big anniversary surprise. Rebecca. Poor thing still thinks there's something to celebrate." I replaced the phone, made his coffee as usual, kissed him goodbye, then vomited until bile burned my throat. That night, after tucking the kids in with bedtime stories, I confronted him in our bedroom, the same room where we'd conceived our children, mourned 2 miscarriages before turning to IVF, held each other through my father's death. "Are you sleeping with Rebecca Harrington?" My voice was steady, a calm I didn't feel. He didn't flinch, just removed his watch with surgical precision, placing it on the nightstand. "Yes." "How long? Does it matter?" His coldness was a stranger's. "I want a divorce, Jennifer." The words weren't a confession. They were an execution. "Why?" I whispered. "I've outgrown this life. Outgrown us." He gestured at our bedroom like it was a prison. "I save lives daily. What do you do? Bake cookies? Organize my sock drawer? I built this despite the anchor of domesticity." His venom struck deep. I'd given everything and he saw me as a weight. "You'll be taken care of financially," he added, like settling a bill. "The kids will adjust. They always do." He slept in the guest room. I lay awake, dissecting 15 years, questioning every memory. By morning, he was gone before dawn, leaving a business card for his lawyer on the counter. The lipstick, the affair, they were surface wounds. The real betrayal ran deeper. A fault line I'd only begun to trace. I hired Patricia Winters, Oak Heights' fiercest divorce attorney, the next day. Her office smelled of leather and resolve, her eyes sharp behind narrow glasses. "Document everything, Jennifer, especially finances," she instructed. That night, after reassuring the kids, "Daddy's just busy at the hospital," I opened our home safe. 15 years of records spilled out. Tax returns, investments, property deeds. Then I saw it. Monthly withdrawals to Riverside Holdings. $5,000, $7,500, $10,000. Over 2 years, $250,000 had vanished. The bank confirmed Riverside was an LLC in William's name alone, the trail dead-ending there. "Hiding assets is common in divorces," Patricia said, scanning the statements. "But this pattern suggests something deliberate, long-term." She dropped a name. Dr. Nathan Brooks, a former Ashford colleague who'd vanished 3 years ago under murky circumstances. "Might be worth a chat," she said. It took 5 calls to find him at a modest clinic 40 miles away. His receptionist hesitated, but at William's name she patched me through. "Mrs. Carter." His voice carried a weight that knotted my stomach. "I've been expecting your call for years. We met at a coffee shop halfway between us." He'd aged, gray streaking his hair, lines carving his face, but his gaze was clinical, unflinching. "I knew this day would come," he said, stirring black coffee. "I just didn't know if it'd be my conscience or William's arrogance that broke first." Over the next hour he shattered my world. "The fertility clinic at Ashford had problems," he began. "Failed IVF procedures despite optimal conditions. I noticed discrepancies. Lab reports didn't match what happened in the labs." My hands shook around my untouched latte. We'd endured 5 IVF rounds, 3 for the twins, 2 for Emma. Each failure a gut punch, each success a miracle. "I investigated quietly," he continued. "Dr. Mercer, the clinic director, was falsifying results, swapping specimens, inflating success rates for reputation and funding. When I confronted him, he admitted William knew. More than knew. He was complicit." "Impossible," I whispered. "He wanted kids as much as I did." Nathan slid a thumb drive across the table. "Hospital records. Lab reports. William's signature authorizing procedural modifications. His euphemism for tampering. Including yours." "Why?" My voice cracked.